It is a beautiful, breezy day here in Dover, Delaware. Temperatures 80 degrees, clear skies, and the winds are gusting considerably here. The point standings here, the closest point battle in Busch Series history over 8 years. Chuck Bown a slim 20-point lead over Jimmy Hensley. Then Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, and Tommy Ellis. Now in 4 of the past 6 years, the man who was leading the points at this time of the year has gone on to win the championship. That bodes well for Chuck Bown. 3 wins, 3 poles, and he has completed over 98% of the laps he has run. Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Punch along with our analyst Ned Jarrett, and we have a great deal of racing in store for you today. Now Ned, over the past couple of weeks, the Winston Cup drivers have taken advantage of their vast Speedway experience at Charlotte to qualify in the front few rows. But what a difference we have here today.
Yes, it is quite a difference, Jerry. Last week it was a 1.5 mile track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is a 1 mile track at Charlotte. Yes, Winston Cup drivers up front at the start and at the finish. But the Busch Grand National regulars have qualified up front here today. I think this track is more of an equalizer for them. It's closer to the 1/2 mile and lesser tracks that they run on a regular basis. So they're able to get their car set up a little better. And of course, it suits their driving style a little better too. But it does make for an interesting starting grid here today. And for more on that, let's go trackside and John Kernan.
Very interesting indeed on the inside, Ned. As you see, we've got 3 relatively inexperienced drivers. Patty Moise, Jack Sprague, his first ever visit here to the Monster Mile, and of course Bobby Labonte sitting on the pole. Now on the other hand, on the outside we have the experienced drivers, and that experience could come into play under long green flag conditions, as they should be able to take better care of their tires. Now fuel, they should be able to push it and be able to go with only 1 fuel stop. But gentlemen, I believe that you'll see most everybody take advantage of caution situations to come in and take on fresh rubber.
Indeed they will, John. We'll see a lot of pit stops because tire wear has always been a considerable concern here at Dover, Delaware. The 36-car field, but some of the drivers who missed the field had mechanical problems. Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett had a problem in qualifying, blew the engine in his car after a win last week at Charlotte. 47 cars on hand for a 36-car field, so a lot of drivers, good drivers, had to go home. Today's Speed World coverage of the Budweiser 200 is brought to you by Quaker State. The big Q is one tough motor oil. By Budweiser Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste, this Bud's for you. And by Purolator, the world's largest filter company. Purolator. We'll be back with the starting lineup for the Budweiser 200 Busch Grand National Series race here from Dover Downs, Delaware, after this message from our sponsor.
The real test of a power mower is starting it easily on the first pull. That's why Sears is putting 100 Craftsman Eager One mowers on the line. Look at that. 99 first pull starts out of 100. No wonder there are more Craftsmen on the job than any other brand. And right now, our 4 horsepower Craftsman 2 lawnmower with 22-inch cut is just $288 while quantities last. So hurry.
Back at the Monster Mile, very demanding 1 mile racetrack here at Dover, Delaware, the Dover Downs International Speedway. High bank facility, 24-degree banking, and it will be a demanding race today for the drivers here in Busch Series racing. Taking a look at the Sears diehard starting grid, Bobby Labonte, his first ever pole position, will lead the charge here along with the veteran Tommy Ellis. Row 2, another rookie driver here on the circuit and the racetrack, Jack Sprague, along with the veteran Michael Waltrip. Back in row 3, Patty Moise, her second best qualifying effort ever in Busch Series racing, along with Ronald Cooper. Then comes Elton Sawyer and the veteran Jimmy Hensley, who won just a few weeks ago up in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Back to row 5, Harry Gant, who has led more laps here than any other driver, and the 5-time series champion Jack Ingram. Row 6, Rick Mast, who won his first ever race here at this facility. Back in row 7, Morgan Shepherd and Steve Grissom. Row 8, Mark Martin and Dick Trickle. Back to row 9, Darrell Waltrip, along with Tom Peck. Row 10, 2-time late model sportsman champion L.D. Ottinger, along with rookie driver Bobby Moon. Back in the 11th row, Tommy Houston, 2-time winner this year on the tour, along with Bobby Hamilton. Back to row 12, Ernie Irvin, a car we will watch today, along with Jamie Obey, the 2-time Busch North Series champion. Back to row 13, Ron Lamell Jr., Rookie of the Year last year on the Busch North Tour, along with Kenny Wallace, the Rookie of the Year last year on the Busch South Tour. And row 14, Dave Resendez and Ken Bouchard. Back in row 15, Bobby Dotter and an impressive young driver, Jeff Burton. Row 16, rookie contender Ed Ferree and Robert Presley. Back in row 17, Dana Patton and Joe Nemechek. As you look at the rest of the starting field here, we'll take a look at Davey Johnson. Did not make a qualifying effort. He's a rookie driver from nearby Imperial, Pennsylvania. He blew both motors trying to qualify, borrowed an engine from the Elton Sawyer team, and was able to start in the rear of the field. Take a look at this 1 mile facility here. 1 mile, Dover, Delaware. Banking 9 degrees on the front and rear straightaways, 24 degrees in the turn. The qualifying pole speed, 143.885 miles per hour. First ever pole for Bobby Labonte. And we're being joined in the booth this afternoon. A fellow who would normally be in the pits, but has been a little bit under the weather this morning, but will be with us here in the booth. On headset, our analyst, Benny Parsons.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry. I woke up this morning and thought I had the big one. Well, that was nice to have a doctor 2 doors down. Dr. Jerry Punch came down, took a look, and said, you better go to the hospital and get checked over. I did, and they said, basically I have an inner ear infection. But I had to take some medicine for that has left me kind of drowsy. So if I fall asleep, well, I don't think I will. Well, this race is as exciting as it's going to be. I don't think I'll have any trouble going to sleep.
It's good to have you here, Benny Parsons, who made that quick trip to the emergency room this morning. Got some great care. And Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett will be with me in the booth, along with John Kernan pit side, as we get ready for Busch Grand National Series racing action from Dover, Delaware. It's the 13th time the Busch Series cars have come here. There has not been a duplicate winner with the exception of one man, Darrell Waltrip, who won this race twice. Everyone else has not won it but one time as they've come here. Pace car now pulling down a turn 4. We should be set for an exciting start. Remember what John Kernan said, a lot of inexperienced drivers on the inside row. They take the green flag from Bobby Scruggs.
Harry Gant down on the inside, back in the pack there, trying to get a jump on the start, but I think it sort of backfired on him, Jerry.
Tommy Ellis picking up where he left off in practice, showing the way.
The 2 veterans able to get a jump on the pole sitter. Bobby Labonte back in 3rd spot. Already Tommy Ellis, who started outside, and Michael Walker, who started 4th, is now running 2nd.
Now, Tommy Ellis had an awfully good run at Charlotte Motor Speedway last week. He was the highest finishing regular Busch Grand National driver. Finished in 5th place down there, led that race for quite a while. Felt that he had a good shot at winning it until he had a mechanical problem. The tail shaft on his transmission broke, losing some grease, and that slowed him a little bit, but he was anxious to get here to Dover and get that Goo Cluster Buick on the racetrack, and he's showing right now that he has a lot of speed.
Jack Sprague driving the car number 34, a rookie driver, didn't get this right until the middle of March. Now makes a move inside of Ronald Cooper, and rode just about loses out of turn 4, but did a great job hanging on to that Buick.
Folks, when the announcer's voice goes up like that, the driver was in serious trouble.
He really was. I expect he had to hold his breath for a moment. Here's Patty Moise making a move as well down on the inside. She's driving the blue, and but that's not orange. It's not really pink either. It's a bright color anyway. Car number 45. It's a Buick.
That's the car owned by Mike Laughlin, the Buick for Patty Moise.
Boy, look at her make a move down on the inside now. Off Sprague.
Patty Moise coming off her best run ever in Busch Series competition at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Finished 13th on the lead lap. An impressive qualifying as they nearly come together out of turn 2. Moise trying to keep her Buick. A pair of Buicks. Now she slides beneath the rookie Jack Sprague. And there is Jimmy Hensley, the veteran driver, in the car number 25, the blue machine just to the right of your picture.
Jimmy had a good seat for that little action that was going on there in front of him when Patty Moise was trying to make his pass, and Jimmy saw how she did it, so he said, let's see if I can do the same thing.
Got to wonder if Jack Sprague didn't heat those tires up a little bit. He nearly lost that car out of turn 4. Now his Buick, the 34 car, drifting up in the turns a little bit, not on the bottom of the track where it was the first few laps.
The groove that Jack Sprague is running in the white 34 will probably be okay later on, but right now the groove on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's where the cars are making the most time. He's caught on the outside, unable to get back to the inside, so therefore the cars are going to be passing him by unless he can get back in line.
Now this is a battle for 5th place between Jimmy Hensley and Jack Sprague. 4 cars out in front of them, of course, are Tommy Ellis, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, and Patty Moise.
Hensley trying to put his Oldsmobile on the inside to move by the car of Jack Sprague. That's the Frank Cece racing car. John Young, who is the crew chief on that car, former crew chief for Alan Kowicki, back when Kowicki won rookie honors in Winston Cup racing. They certainly put a very strong mount together for the rookie driver, Sprague.
He's doing a good job staying up there in that second groove. Now he might have went a little too high there, gave Hensley the opening that he was looking for, and now he makes the pass.
And the man we talked about at the top of the show, the current point leader now, Chuck Bown, is car number 63. That's the Nescafe Coffee Pontiac, moves beneath Sprague to take over the 6th spot. And here's Rick Mast in the car number 22, moving down the back straightaway inside of Sprague.
Jack needs to get on the inside because this freight train is never going to stop. Now he has moved back down on the inside, but as I was going to say, the freight train was never going to stop unless he got back in the groove.
You know, they got some riding on that car, Jerry. I think they just picked up a sponsor's Keystone on the side of the Jack Sprague car, and I think that came about after he had his good qualifying run.
It came about yesterday afternoon. They just put it on this morning. Keystone Beer Distributing here nearby, and they certainly felt that the young driver, 25-year-old youngster from Lansing, Michigan, Jack Sprague, has impressed a lot of people by qualifying that car up in the first few rows. We're in the early laps here in Dover, Delaware. Tommy Ellis picking up where he left off in practice as the quick cars. He leads the way, but Michael Waltrip closing in. Early action here in the Budweiser 200 at Dover Downs International Speedway. Tommy Ellis trying to pick up his first one ever at Dover, Delaware, but a lot of veterans challenging. We'll be back after this.
Nothing beats a winning team, pushing hard, reaching for the dream. Nothing beats clean, crisp and cold. Got the king of beers, you're on a roll. Nothing beats a Bud, Budweiser. Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud, nothing beats a Bud.
Winning. It can all come down to one spark plug, Champion. No other plug in the world has fired more drivers to victory than Champion spark plugs. Imagine what they can do for you. Champion. We race. You win. Win a trip for two to the Australian Grand Prix in the Champion We Race You Win giveaway. Enter now at your participating auto parts store or auto service dealer.
Back in Dover, Delaware for the Budweiser 200, Tommy Ellis, the veteran driver from Richmond, Virginia, showing the way, being chased by Michael Waltrip. Then comes the youngster Bobby Labonte. An impressive performance by Patty Moise and the current point leader, Chuck Bown. 6 through 10, Jimmy Hensley, Rick Mast, Harry Gant, Morgan Shepherd, and the young man who's a rookie here hanging on the 10th place is Jack Sprague. Tommy Ellis really showing the way. They've got to be very, very comfortable down in the Ellis pit. How about it, John Kernan?
They are very, very comfortable. I asked Mike Hillman just a few minutes ago if Tommy was trying to make this a runaway lapper. He just looked at me and smiled with a confident smile, and you can see Tommy is still pulling away.
Michael Waltrip now trying to really, he pulled Ellis to within about 2 or 3 car lengths, and now Tommy simply just pushed the pedal and pulled away.
Yes, as we were going into commercial, Jerry, Michael Waltrip had closed in and looked like he might, in a few laps, make a bid for the front. But then it seemed Tommy Ellis just turned the wing up and started pulling away.
Benny Parsons, they made a gear change in Tommy Ellis's car late yesterday, just before qualifying. They went from a 411 to a 422. Ellis said, I need to be able to turn the RPMs here. What's the difference?
Well, about 200 RPMs is all the difference we're talking about. But what he was wanting was more RPM in the middle of the corner. As we see Chuck Bown being passed on the outside, but he wants more RPMs in the middle of the corner. When he gets back on the throttle at this racetrack, you have to hit the brakes going in the corner, let off the gasoline, hit the brakes, and get back on the accelerator. When you do that, you want all the RPM or horsepower available to you. The more gear, the more RPM, more horsepower.
And it doesn't mean that they're necessarily pulling or turning more RPMs in the race, because their lap speeds are slower than when they qualified and even during practice runs. Right now they're turning about 25.90, where we saw that the pole speed was 25.02.
That's the 7th and 8th place cars right there. Morgan Shepherd in the Texas Peaks car. That's a Chevrolet Lumina, and the Ford Thunderbird, car number 1, coming to you. That is the Mark Martin machine.
Darrell Waltrip having a problem with his car number 17. It looks like he might be headed to the pits. Darrell had been sort of backpedaling through the field. and indeed is coming into the pits.
He's going behind the wall, Ned. That means he's out for the day.
Eddie Jones and the crew now walking around the car. That's a brand new race car that Mike Laughlin had built for Darrell Waltrip, who's the only driver to win here twice at Dover, Delaware. Waltrip having won Busch Series competition here at Dover years ago, back in the early days of the tour. Waltrip picking up wins back in '85 and '86.
Here's a battle for second place. Bobby Labonte has caught up to Michael Waltrip. He had dropped back more than a second behind Michael Waltrip. That is for second position. You can see Tommy Ellis on the left of your screen out front. But now, young Bobby Labonte in the Penrose Sausage Oldsmobile making a bid on Michael Waltrip.
John Kernan talked about the rookie contenders. The pole sitter, Bobby Labonte, there in third spot. But again, his first race here at Dover. We didn't expect him just to go out and run off and hide. As a matter of fact, to be where he is, I am fairly impressed with his performance so far.
He has impressed people all year long. And the first person to him yesterday after he qualified and set the pole time here was older brother Terry Labonte. He came up and shook his hand and said, "I'm buying dinner tonight, little brother." Bobby Labonte, remember last time we saw him run so well at Darlington on our ESPN coverage, he finished second down there in this same race car.
There goes Jimmy Hensley by the Chuck Bown automobile, and Bown, the point leader, seems to be a little bit off the pace. Looks like the car may be backing up just a little bit.
Yeah, he has moved to the inside and let several cars pass him on the outside. That car is definitely not up to full speed. Ronald Cooper in car number 56 trying to make a move on Jimmy Hensley. Hensley in the Crown Fast Fair car number 25. And Ronald Cooper does make the pass.
Well, Chuck Bown last week had some tough luck at Charlotte. They had problems with the right front of the car. Ended up finishing a disappointing 17th. And there was a lot of concern here over whether he would be able to run the full 200 laps. Chuck Bown, Sills car slowing to the inside. They're the current point leader. Chuck, is it tough to run 200 laps here at Dover, Delaware?
I don't think it'll be too bad. You know, I like them tough. I like them hot. So I'll have a water jug in there. I don't think I have any trouble. I'm more worried about the tires than I am about me.
Well, if he likes it that much, he ought to be here tomorrow because we got 500 laps. It's going to be even hotter and even slicker. So come around tomorrow, Chuck. You'll love it.
We may have just jinxed him because we showed how he was leading the points here. We've had 5 different point leaders in the first 12 events of the year in Busch Series competition. He took over the point lead a couple of weeks ago, and after his dismal finish at Charlotte, he is not running up the par today as Jack Ingram goes by him, as does Tommy Houston. Back up front, Tommy Ellis showing the way here. There's Ellis in car number 99, and now Michael Waltrip really closing in on Ellis as they're moving in on the Jeff Spraker car.
Yeah, when he gets in traffic, Jerry, I've noticed the last several laps, now that they're starting lapping cars, Michael Waltrip is able to move in closer, which means apparently his car is working a little bit better up in that second groove. Tommy Ellis being very careful as he moves up on the left traffic.
Michael Waltrip had some ideas about going on the inside of the Tommy Ellis automobile at that time, but when he tried to turn under, his car got a little bit loose. Look, is he going to try this on the outside? Come on, Michael.
I thought you learned about going on the outside in Bristol, Tennessee, Mike Waltrip, but apparently not. He does it here at Dover, Delaware. They call Dover a big Bristol because of the high banks and the demands on the driver and machine. Michael Waltrip made it look easy.
Made it look awfully easy, and I tell you what, he's already pulled about 10 car lengths away from Ellis. And the 44 car driven by Bobby Labonte looks like he's going to pull up on the back of 99. I just wonder, could the 99's tires be going away? Could they be getting hot? What is the problem?
Well, let's check in and see what's going on with the Darrell Waltrip car that pulled behind the pit wall moments ago. John Kernan.
What Jerry Darrell has done for the day, he says he's not really sure exactly what happened, only that the motor let go on him, and a very disappointed Darrell Waltrip making his way back to the Winston Cup garage.
Well, I bet Dad Leroy's got to have mixed emotions about right now because Darrell is behind the wall, but his youngest son, Michael, is showing the way here at Dover, Delaware.
Michael already a winner this year on the Busch circuit, having won at Richmond, Virginia, second race of the season.
Sat on the pole and led quite a bit of that race in Richmond, Virginia. This is the car that Michael destroyed in that lap 14 crash with 24 cars at Daytona, and they had to rebuild this car, took it to Charlotte, finally got the car finished, took it to Charlotte last week to race it. Didn't qualify that well. In fact, started 21st, was all the way to third place when it suddenly had a vibration and had to pit and lost a couple laps, ended up finishing 18th.
The black 8 that we're seeing is Bobby Hamilton, a winner last year on the Busch Grand National Circuit. And there's the leader of the race now, Michael Walker.
Well, that car is working well, Benny. He is able, it looks like, to go anywhere on the racetrack he wants to go. He can go low or...
He's moved up the racetrack, Ned. He moved up about a lane. Looked like the car picked up speed, a considerable speed up, just a little bit off the bottom of the racetrack.
And I thought he had scared that Kool-Aid man clean off the hood after Bristol, Tennessee, but he's back here today, and Michael Waltrip showing the way. We are 31 laps into the Budweiser 200 here at Dover Downs, Delaware. Michael Waltrip leading the veteran Tommy Ellis and Bobby Labonte. We'll be back after this.
If you love cars, you'll love Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring. Every week, Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars. GTs, sports sedans, collector cars, 4x4s, front drivers. Auto Week makes you an insider with industry news, personality profiles, old cars, columnists, the best classified anywhere. And nobody covers racing like Auto Week. You get the fastest coverage of Formula One, sports cars, stockers, Indy cars. It's all in Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring every week. Call 1-800-554-3000 to get a full year of Auto Week at our special discount price. Just $19.95 for 52 issues, only 38 cents a week. You'll save 80% off the newsstand price. Call 1-800-554-3000. Let Auto Week put you in the driver's seat every week.
Back of a back can't be beat with baseball 4 nights a week. Major League under the lights, ESPN baseball tonight. Tuesday, Friday, doubleheader. Wednesday, nothing better. Catch it Sunday, watch the fun. Sunday night, our home run.
The Twins face the White Sox on Sunday Night Baseball, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Baseball tonight.
Back at Dover, Delaware, 27-year-old Michael Waltrip showing the way with the Kool-Aid Country Time Pontiac here in Budweiser Racing, the Budweiser 200 Busch Grand National Series. Michael Waltrip having qualified that car in 4th spot. They were chasing for a while the car number 99 of Tommy Ellis. And there's the Ellis machine as he's now being reeled in by Bobby Labonte. Only about 4 car lengths. Labonte is the car number 44. And there you see him coming out of turn 2. Average speed thus far 138.996 miles per hour. Race record 118.285. That record was set, by the way, by Michael Waltrip when he won here back a couple of years ago in September of '88. Let's check in the pits with John Kernan.
Well, the reason Tommy Ellis is slowed a little bit on the track, Mike Hillman says Tommy radioed in and is complaining that the car is just a bit loose. So they're biding their time right now, waiting for a caution flag so they can come in and put on a couple of fresh tires. Chuck Bown, the points leader of the Busch Grand National Tour, is also slowing down. He has called in and said that he has broken a right rear shock. So some problems for Chuck Bown also.
Well, a tough break for Chuck Bown. He's broken a right rear shock. Last week in Charlotte, he broke a right front shock and also had part of the spring and A-frame come apart on the car. That's what cost him that 17th place finish at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So the last couple of weeks, not a great deal of luck for our current point leader, Chuck Bown.
This is 2nd and 3rd place we're seeing there. Tommy Ellis in the Goo Goo Clusters Candy Bar 99 and the Penrose Sausage 44. Bobby Labonte. Now they're running 2nd and 3rd, and 4th and 5th are a couple of veterans. Harry Gant has moved into 4th and Mark Martin into 5th, and here we see them on the screen. Mark Martin started in 15th place, Jerry, and now has moved up to 5th.
Harry Gant in that Buick Regal. That's a brand new body. It's the car they actually ran last year as an old Buick LeSabre, and they've been working to rebuild that body, put a brand new Buick Regal body on that Stoll car for the Ed Whitaker team. And there's the Bill Davis owned car number 1 of Mark Martin. And the only Ford in the field.
Look how he's still standing right on the bottom of the speedway. All the other cars, even the leader, Michael Waltrip, has moved up to the 2nd lane. And look at Michael Waltrip, heavy traffic car leader. Right behind Dave Rezendes, Kenny Wallace. He has just passed the Davy Johnson automobile. Ooh, look at him bobble, and Davy Johnson going back.
Mike Waltrip's car getting loose there coming out of turn 2, and he has moved up the racetrack there as now the Davy Johnson car That's the car number 26 out on the inside, a rookie driver. Nearby Imperial, Pennsylvania, and again Mike Waltrip's car begins to bobble a little bit.
Benny, you and I talked a little bit yesterday. You made an observation that, and you can almost see that those black spots in the pavement there. They have put some tar in some cracks in the pavement there. You guess he might have got up in some of that fresh tar and maybe scoot a little?
I think that you're probably correct, Ned. He probably got a rear tire just in that tar, a little bit of that tar. And Jeff Fuller up in Massachusetts, we're talking about T-A-R, not T-I-R-E, but T-A-R. That's what they put in the crack. And when those race cars hits that tar, you're right, Ned. It's almost like hitting ice.
And another driver having some trouble, fellas, is this Raven Boats Buick of Rick Mast. He had been up to 5th place a moment ago, and his car really slowing a little bit. Mast picking up his first Busch Series win back in September of '87. It's been a good track for him, but not today. How about it, John Kerning? What's Rick's problem?
Well, they blew an engine early today and put in another one, Jerry. And right now, Rick says he believes he has lost a cylinder. So he's definitely slowing down and very disappointed because he was expecting another good run here at the Monster Mile.
Tough break for Rick Mast, Glenn Doyle, and the Raven Boats people. There's Michael Waltrip now, still trying to work by the Dave Resendez car. They go by the Bobby Dotter machine, the 08 machine, and there's the car number 39 of Kenny Wallace. Heavy traffic there for Michael Waltrip.
You know, Dave Resendez might have learned something when Waltrip passed him there a little early, and then Waltrip slid high. Resendez got back around him. He might have seen the groove that Michael Waltrip was running and said, hey, maybe I can go a little bit faster if I move up there and stay in the lead lap.
Tommy Ellis has gained on Michael Waltrip. He's going up a little bit higher than he was just a little bit ago. He has gained on Michael Waltrip, but it may be because Waltrip is caught in the traffic and behind Resendez and not able to get by him.
Well, he has pulled away from Bobby Labonte back there. Labonte was right on him a little bit ago, Benny, so it looks like maybe Ellis has picked up a little speed, and it could be that he's learned that his car will work a little better. They said it was loose, and most of the time if you're running on the bottom of the racetrack, a loose car is a little tougher to handle down there, so it might be that he's just finding the second groove is better for him.
There we see Michael Waltrip just go Tommy Ellis, the second place car. And up in front of him, the red car just went in turn 1 with Michael Waltrip. There comes Harry Gant. Harry Gant and Mark Martin are gaining on the leaders.
A couple of veteran drivers who are accustomed to the track getting a little bit slippery. They will be here all afternoon tomorrow for 500 laps in the Budweiser 500, and they're getting those cars worked out today. Gant in the car number 7. There is the Skull Bandit Buick out of the Ed Whitaker stable. 50-year-old Harry Gant, who won twice last year in Busch Series racing, along with Mark Martin. And Martin started back in 15th spot, the only Ford in the field. Phil Davis being loyal to Ford for many, many years, although they have not been able really to get those V6s up to horsepower. And now Gant moves to the inside. Goes by the Bobby Dotter car.
And the yellow flag is out. There's trouble, I believe, over in turn 2.
Morgan Shepherd, heavy contact to the outside retaining wall on that Texas Pete car. Look at that heavy damage in the rear of that car.
Morgan had moved up to 6th position. He was not far behind Harry Gant and Mark Martin, the battle that we were watching there. But, boy, that Texas Pete Chevrolet is really crumpled up.
There's a shot of Morgan Shepherd, who, of course, will be in that Motorcraft car tomorrow for Bud Morris, currently second in the Winston Cup points as Bobby Scruggs waves the yellow flag. Morgan heavy contact with his Chevrolet Lumina out of turn 2. Safety crews are there. Morgan apparently the car backing into the wall. Let's take a look and see if we can see exactly what happened.
You can see he's already into the wall. Heavy damage on the back of the Texas Pete Chevrolet, the car co-sponsored by Tyson. And you see him come to rest down on the inside of the track.
Pit stop should be the order of the day here. It'll be the first time for these drivers to be able to get on the pit road, and some of the drivers who wanted to make those adjustments will have a chance to do so right now. As Tommy Ellis, we would expect to see Tommy Ellis and some of the others come in and make their pit stops. John Kernan mentioned they could make it on one fuel stop. They actually could run about 110 to 12 laps on fuel, but fuel really isn't the question here, as they are still picking up the parts and pieces of the Chevrolet. That's the Mike Swaim-owned car that Morgan Shepherd was driving. Now, Morgan is signed to drive that car for 16 Busch Series events. This will be his 3rd start in the car. Ran real well, finished 4th up at Nazareth, Pennsylvania in his first outing in this machine. Did not run nearly as well at Charlotte. And now pit stops as the field single file down pit road for their first caution flag pit stop of the day. Let's check in the Michael Waltrip pit Let's check in the pits with John Kernan.
We're waiting on Michael Waltrip. He looked like the crew was out ready for him to come down, but he didn't make the hard left-hand turn to the pit. Tommy Ellis, though, is in. Remember, that car was just a little bit loose, and so they'll put on some new rubber, 2 new tires, and Tommy is now out and away, but we're still waiting for Michael Waltrip. The crew doesn't feel like they're expecting him to come in right now.
John, if they didn't come in that first time around, I think their plans are to stay out there and only make 1 pit stop during the race. They want to get a little bit closer to that halfway point before they do that.
A couple of cars getting caught behind others in the pits, very congested on pit road. Michael Waltrip electing to stay out. Tommy Ellis getting 2 tires, which is the rule here in Busch Series racing. Under caution for the first time today. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
This is how a racetrack looks when you're on a Yamaha FZR. And this is how it looks when you're on something else.
See why winning on the track results in some of the most advanced motorcycles on the street. Yamaha.
Dickies takes you back through the ages to show you a few of the famous people who've worn Dickies pants. Your dad, Charles A. Lindbergh, Sherlock Holmes, George Washington, Ponce de Leon, Eric the Red, Julius Caesar, Arnold Rockstone. You too can wear these famous pants by Dickies, available every day at famous low prices. Dickies, famous since 1922. Arnold Rockstone, made with Fortrell polyester by Fiber Industries.
One Tough Motor Oil announces one tough guarantee. The Quaker State 250,000-mile or 10-year guarantee. Register your new car at a participating service center. Then use only Quaker State. Have oil and filter changed as directed at a service center, and if any lubricated engine part suffers an oil-related breakdown within 250,000 miles or 10 years, you're covered. Quaker State guarantees it in writing. The big Q is one tough motor oil.
Just how easy can your Yamaha dealer put you on a new Yamaha? That easy. Can-do financing for a limited time only at your local Yamaha dealer.
This track fact is brought to you by Quaker State. The big Q is one tough motor oil.
Everyone knows just how difficult that last drop is to get out of the bottom of a cup. Same thing holds true getting that last drop of fuel out of a gas tank at Dover. Pretend this is a full fuel tank. You see what happens when you set it in the bank at Dover? All the fuel runs to the left side of the gas tank. That's why the teams have to use a fuel pickup something like this. When the car goes in the corner, all the fuel runs to the right side, goes in this box. There's a small flapper valve in here to make sure that the fuel doesn't run out, because the straightaways are banked enough that the gasoline will go over to the left side of the car, therefore not picking it up. Everyone uses this box at Dover. If you don't use it, you could run out of fuel prematurely. But the problem with this box is there's no warning. When you're out of fuel, it's all over. Hey, Pam, next time, let's use milkshake as a prop, okay?
Yeah, Benny could use a little milkshake.
Yeah, I guarantee you, talking about Pam Miller, our pit producer, chose water over milkshakes. It's amazing. It's a wonder you let her get away with that.
Can you imagine she comes carrying me up a glass of water and says, suck on this, big boy.
Oh, well, one guy who may be sucking some gas late in the afternoon is Michael Waltrip, who didn't pit. Let's find out why from John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, Michael is very happy with the way the car is handling right now. He says the tires are fine. They're not going away. So they have elected to make it to the halfway point before they change tires and also take on their final load of fuel. So their strategy is just one stop for today, and they hope it's the one that takes them down the pit road into victory lane.
Michael Waltrip didn't pit. Thank you, John. There's Michael still leading here in the Country Time Kool-Aid Pontiac, along with others that didn't pit. Of course, the car number 33, a good run here. That, of course, the efforts for Dick Trickle and Jeff Burton, the young rookie driver. Those are the front 3 cars. And you see the Morgan Shepherd Texas Pete Chevrolet being pulled back behind the wall. We're early on here at Dover, Delaware in the Budweiser 200. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
The Quaker State King Racing Buick, winner of the 1989 Die Hard Award for the most tough NASCAR mile, is winning again in 1990 as Brett Bodine takes first in the first Union 400. It takes a tough oil to keep a car running this tough. And it takes a tough driver to step right in, step on it, and win. But number 26 is one tough car. Brett Bodine is one tough driver. And Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
Want great value for your money? Start with a great machine, a Craftsman.
Like this 12-horsepower Craftsman tractor with 40-inch mower deck and 6 speeds, just $11.99. Save $100.
And there's only one place to get it, Sears.
When I played football, I crunched quarterbacks. But now I crunch these, JB's Pigskins. The new pork rinds.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Winning. It can all come down to one spark plug, Champion. No other plug in the world has fired more drivers to victory than Champion spark plugs. Imagine what they can do for you. Champion. We race. You win. Win a trip for 2 to the Australian Grand Prix in the Champion We Race You Win giveaway. Enter now at your participating auto parts store or auto service dealer.
What could this off-road vehicle possibly have in common with this off-road vehicle? The same quality filter protection you can give your car from Purelator, the world's largest filter company.
Back in Dover, Delaware for the Budweiser 200, 56 of 200 laps complete. Michael Waltrip showing the way. He did not pit, neither did Dick Trickle or Jeff Burton. Tommy Ellis did come in for 2 tires, as did Harry Gant, who is running in 5th. 6 through 10, Bobby Labonte, Martin, good run for that car. The 4, Jack Sprague, Ernie Irvin making his way to 9th spot, and Ronald Cooper is 10th. Safety car still has the field in tow. And there's Bobby Scruggs holding the one finger up. Now, when he holds the finger up, it indicates that it's a double file restart. The finger down means a single file restart, meaning that they have not begun to lap the cars. Car number 33 being driven today by Dick Trickle. That car is owned by John Farrow, who has a truck stop up in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. But the story there is a sponsor on the car. On the hood of that car, it says Chicken Lounge, Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's owned by Glenn Miller, not the orchestra leader, but the fellow who owns the Chicken Lounge up there. And they are big ESPN fans, and the people have piled into the Chicken Lounge today. Reserved seats were being sold to watch the big screen television telecast of the Budweiser 200. And they have their car in 2nd spot right now as the fast cars move to the inside. Dick Trickle has that Oldsmobile. Car number 33 in 2nd behind Michael Waltrip, who's wiggling back and forth, along with Dave Resendez, the lap car on the outside, as we get set to go to green.
The Kenny Wallace car, number 36, on the outside of Trickle. He just went a lap down before the caution came out. We're showing, I think, 20 cars in the lead laps and green flag ways.
Mike Waltrip pulled down to the bottom of the racetrack, but we'll keep an eye back in the field as Tommy Ellis and Harry Gant and some of the drivers who did pit for fresh tires should be making their way to the front in a hurry.
And the new tires should help them some, Terry. We'll see as they get sort of strung out here.
Bobby Moon in the car number 85. That's Jeff Burton, the car number 12.
He's running in 3rd place.
And Tommy Ellis now on the inside. That's the black car coming at you with the big goo-goo clusters on the hood. That's the Buick.
He's running 4th. Harry Gant in the car number 7, the green car, running in 5th place.
Jeff Burton, car number 12. That's the new Armour-sponsored car, the Sam Ard-owned machine. Ard, the 2-time former Busch Series champion. And Ellis really coming in now on the youngster, Jeff Burton. You got to wonder if the cars are getting this loose early on, why wouldn't Mike Waltrip want to come in and pit, or Dick Trickle, 2 veteran drivers?
Track position, Jerry. Michael Waltrip is very comfortable leading this race. As John Kernan reported from the pits, his tires feel good. He has enough fuel to run for another 50, 60 laps. He does not want to start behind those other cars.
Michael Waltrip has pulled away, and Dick Trickle is trying to hold on. There's the car number 30 of Waltrip. Trickle about 6 or 7, making about 10 car lengths back now. But Tommy Ellis Let's take the interval between Michael Waltrip and the Tommy Ellis car. 1.8 seconds. There's Ellis's car just behind the lap car of Dave Resendez. Let's see what the fresh tires are doing for Tommy Ellis. He's having a little trouble now with some of the lap cars, so Ellis wants to keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack, but Resendez has that groove covered.
That's the problem that Tommy is going to have. That's exactly why Michael Waltrip wanted to stay out. Exactly. Because look at all the trouble that Tommy Ellis is having getting by Resendez. Michael Waltrip had no problem. He was able to put in second gear and drive away.
And you can use those new tires up in a hurry, too, trying to get around someone. However, now Tommy has moved around, and it opened the door for Harry Gant in the Buick number 7, the Skoll Buick, to move around to Dave Resendez as well.
Now with clear traffic, we're probably able to get an interval that we can be able to use, and we'll see if Tommy Ellis, with those new tires, is gaining on Michael Waltrip.
It probably widened a little bit since the last lap when we clocked them.
It was 2.2 seconds. Now it's 2.3, and Ned, you're indeed correct. Now Tommy Ellis has some clear racetrack to try to get that Buick back toward the front. There comes Waltrip, Trickle, then Tommy Ellis and Harry Gant.
And I'll bet that Tommy Ellis will close in a little bit this lap. We'll see.
Mike Waltrip hugging that bottom groove, Ned, and Trickle has the left tires on that white line. We'll check the interval one more time. Waltrip and Ellis, 2 seconds, knee to righty. 0.3 of a second that time by.
Now you can see it on the racetrack that he has just closed it up a little bit. But he's going to have to drive awfully hard to get up there where Michael Waltrip is, and by the time he gets there, he might have used the newness off of those tires.
Exactly, Ned. That's exactly right. And he's going to have trouble getting by Dick Trickle in this white 33 car. I mean, Trickle's not just going to let Tommy Ellis and Harry Gant drive by. They're going to have to work to get by. Yeah, 1.8, so he's gained 2 tenths of another second. But Michael Waltrip just sitting up there feeling good. It was good strategy on Michael in his cruise part.
Ronnie Silver, the veteran crew chief for Michael Waltrip, calling the shots there in the pits. Take a look back here, this battle to car number 12, Jeff Burton. And that is the Bobby Labonte car number 44. And the one, of course, is Mark Martin, 5th, 6th, and 7th place.
Now remember, Jeff Burton in the car number 12 did not stop. Bobby Labonte did in the car number 44, and so did Mark Martin. So they have new, fresh tires on the outside. And here's Labonte working on Jeff Burton, the Armor Meats Buick number 12.
And we'll update you on Morgan Shepherd that he did climb out of that car. A lot of the people watching back in North Carolina who are big Morgan Shepherd fans, he is okay, we are told. That release from the NASCAR officials, and that's good news. Morgan did hit that wall a ton up in turn 2 in the Texas Pete Chevrolet.
I don't think Sanja's here today, so she's watching back in Conover, North Carolina, she and their daughter Shanda. So Sanja Morgan is okay, according to the NASCAR officials.
The Armor Meats car, the Sam Ard machine with Jeff Burton aboard trying to hold off. He's moved up on the racetrack and given an open Bobby Labonte, the pole sitter. The car number 44 is Bobby Labonte. And Labonte just can't quite. Yes, he does on the inside now in turns 1 and 2. They're door to door.
But Burton has a little momentum on the high groove. He's able to get a little bit more power up there because, again, the car turns a few more RPMs as we move higher on the racetrack. But
now Tommy Ellis has caught the Dick Trickle machine, and Ellis will begin to try to make his move. Trickle did not win 1,100 short track races by moving over and waving people by. He has not done that for Tommy Ellis. Ellis will have to work to get by this veteran driver.
Yeah, he thought he had a chance coming off of turn 2, but it didn't quite work. Trickle's car stand down pretty good to have tires that have already run 70 laps on them.
Dick Trickle drove a Busch Series race last week at Charlotte, looked to have the strongest car in the field and possibly did have the strongest car in the field, but on the last lap, Dale Jarrett made the move inside of Trickle to take the win by a scant 3 feet at the finish line. Trickle now driving the John Farrow Oldsmobile here for the first time this year. There's a look at Dick Trickle, the 48-year-old veteran, and Tommy Ellis, former Busch Series national champion here in 1988.
Well, I'll tell you, you got 3 of the greatest short track drivers in the country running together there. Dick Trickle, Tommy Ellis, and Harry Gant. I say short track, those fellows can drive on any racetrack.
We're in a 1-mile speedway, the Dover International Speedway, and they're doing a pretty good job. I think Tommy Ellis had better make up his mind. If he's, Trickle almost loses the car, gets it sideways, gives Ellis the advantage he needs, pulls alongside.
A little tire smoke out of the Oldsmobile for Dick Trickle, and that may mean the tires are giving up. Tommy Ellis makes the move on the inside. Tommy Ellis, is this track the Monster Mile everyone thinks it is? I mean, this track awfully tough to a lot of drivers. Is it really the monster here that everyone says it could be?
Well, you know, I can only speak for myself. This is my favorite speedway. I'd rather come here than any other speedway we go to. It's been good to me. I adapted real well to this racetrack the first time I ever raced a push car. Yeah, I ran it second or third, I can't remember, but I like it. And to me, even 500 miles in a Winston Cup car, I'm just suited to me on my style of driving because it doesn't wear me out.
You know, he just mentioned he finished second or third. He didn't remember which. Folks, that tells you what it is to win and how important it is to win. They say nobody ever remembers who runs second. The fellow who runs second don't remember who runs second.
Yeah, he didn't know if he ran second or third. If he won it, he would have known.
He would remember.
Yep.
And Tommy Ellis, just for the record, has finished second here twice in Busch Series competition.
And he's running second right now. Michael Waltrip still out in front of him. Maybe we can get the clock going here in a little bit and see after that battle with Dick Trickle, did he lose to Michael Waltrip, or where does he stand?
Well, Dick Trickle's car beginning to fade a little bit. You got to wonder if his tires are going away. Showing the car still bobbling a little bit in the corner. How about it, John Kernan? What's the deal with Dick Trickle's car?
Well, Jerry, the concern with Dick Trickle's fit is that his tires are beginning to go away. They're asking him to nurse it around and try and make it to the halfway point because they still want to do this race with only one stop.
Back to the pack, Tommy Houston and Ronald Cooper. Ronald Cooper in the car number 56 and Tommy Houston in the car number 6.
They're running 10th and 11th, Jerry.
And Steve Grissom, car number 31, who's had a good second half of the season here. Grissom only had one top 10 finishes in the first 7 races. Then they hired the veteran Steve Bird as a crew chief, and they have had 4 top 10 in the last 5 events. That's
Jerry, excuse me. Go ahead.
Car number 31 of Steve Grissom.
As you were speaking, Rick Mast has come into the pits in the Raven Boats Buick. So an unscheduled pit stop for Rick Mast. He was having some problems and had dropped back in the field, but now he is in the pits. Here he is, still in the pits. And let's go down to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, as we said earlier, Rick had thought he had lost the cylinder. Whenever he came down the track just a few laps ago, his car sounded very, very sick. Sounded like it was only running on about 5 cylinders, so he's in the pit now. Looks like they're pushing him back and getting ready to end Rick Mast's day. Now, Tommy Ellis, as I just see going into turn 1, a lot of smoke coming from his car.
Having a problem. You can see the smoke rolling from the Goo Buick.
A lot of trouble for Tommy Ellis. Tough break for the 42-year-old driver from Richmond, Virginia. The Hutter racing engine having its trouble there, and the car had really been making its move. Tough break for Tommy Ellis.
You know, who knows what, with all that blue smoke coming out, there is some speculation from some of our spotters that he might have burned a piston. It's unusual that the car would run this far and have a piston problem, but he might have been turning it a little bit too much and trying to catch that 30 car. He just might have burned a piston. John Kernan, what do you think?
Well, Tommy has said on the radio he feels that they had leaned the carburetor out too much, and he has indeed burned the piston. And he's now coming down and pulling into the garage area, so a tough break for Tommy Ellis from the outside pole sitter.
Tommy Ellis, who was 5th overall in the Busch Series point standings, will lose some valuable ground today to current point leader Chuck Bown. 82 laps complete here. Michael Waltrip showing the way in the Budweiser 200. We'll be back after this.
Coming soon to a family near you, June 17th.
June 17th? Did I know that? June 17th?
June 17th, the day that honors the man who always stood by you, the family provider. Mom's main squeeze.
Father's Day, oh yeah, oh no.
This year, get Dad what he really wants. Sports Illustrated and the Super Duper Baseball Bloopers, over 50 minutes of baseball blunders. Sure to be a hit with all dads.
My dad will love it.
It's free with your paid subscription to the official gift of Father's Day, Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. That's a great idea.
Call now for a full year of SI at over 55% off the cover price.
Hi. Sports Illustrated?
Fast, easy, and just in time. Yours at the low Father's Day sale price, only $1.19 per issue.
You give him the magazine, and I'll give him the video. Okay?
This year, give Dad Sports Illustrated. After all, doesn't he deserve it?
Before they turn pro, before they make the Olympic team, they start here at the Golden Gloves National Championships, Monday at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific on ESPN.
Back at Dover, Delaware here, we are lap 85 of the 200 laps which comprise the Budweiser 200. Michael Waltrip showing the way in his Pontiac. Michael Waltrip, currently our leader. Harry Gant runs in second place, but the man that they was going to chase all day, they thought, who may have the strongest car, is now behind the wall, standing with our John Kernan.
Tommy, a very disappointing end to a day. I know you're expecting a strong run here. You like to run here. What happened?
Well, the Cougar Cluster Buick was really running good. We burned the piston. I guess this is the end of that season now. There's no way we can win the points now. I'm really depressed and dejected for the whole team and Standard Candy Company and everybody that works for them. I'm sorry I let you down. We tried, and we just come up short.
A very dejected Tommy Ellis calling me today.
You know, I disagree with him, John, on that situation that this is the end of the season for him. There's a lot of races left on this Busch Grand National Tour this year, and I know how it looks to a driver in a moment like this when he fell out and the people that he's chasing in the points still out there running good. But there are a lot of races left, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Tommy Ellis and his crew are not going to give up.
As soon as he gets home and has a good night's rest, tomorrow morning he'll change his mind completely. He'll be on Monday morning, he'll go in the shop and say, okay, guys, let's go win this thing.
Well, I think wife Brenda will tell him, said, hey, you got to remember, there are 18 races left to go in this 31-race season, and Tommy Ellis will certainly be a factor before it's over.
Here again, Jerry is closing up on Michael Waltrip. He looks like he's about less than a second behind him.
Of course, he was right on Tommy Ellis's bumper when Ellis blew, and Ellis was gaining on Michael Waltrip. So now Gant is just picked right up there, and with those fresher tires on the outside, working to his advantage.
Michael Waltrip showing the way, and Harry Gant is in second spot. Gant closing on Waltrip, but there are a lot of cars still on the track trying to compete here as we're just approaching the halfway. We'll do our field snapshots. We hold the camera in one position, and you get to see your favorite car and driver come by. The start-finish line there is the big Bud sign with Bobby Scruggs atop the flag stand. We'll have the lap clock there on Michael Waltrip on his back straightaway lap, as he is now in the backstretch on this lap. Cars coming by.
Kenny Wallace car, Bobby Moon automobile. Jack Ingram.
And there's the Michael Waltrip car coming by back to turn one. Again, is close to about 8 or 9 car lengths as they're going to be moving in on heavy traffic.
26.2 the elapsed time, which is a little over a second slower than they qualify, but that's still pretty good when you consider Michael Waltrip has 91 laps on the set of tires he has on that country time Pontiac.
That's still over 137 miles an hour. They qualified a little over 143, so they haven't lost a lot here, and they've run almost 100 laps here at Dover, Delaware.
He's in heavy traffic right now. Patty Moise, who started in the 5th position, the last car on the lead lap. She's running in the 18th position, about to go a lap down.
Cars out of the race. Darrell Waltrip having a mechanical problem. Morgan Shepherd, who hit the wall a ton in turn 2. And Tommy Ellis, we just heard from moments ago, who burned a piston in the Goo Goo Cluster Buick. Along with Rick Mast, who had dropped the cylinder early in the Raven Boast Buick and has now retired that car from the field. Michael Waltrip showing the way here at Dover, Delaware, but it's going to get interesting very, very quickly as Harry Gant is closing in a hurry. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
To make wrenching fast and easy, you can either do this or get this, the Skill Wrench Cordless Power Wrench. It's revolutionary.
What makes a Quaker State engine so tough? One tough motor oil. And being tough takes more than just talking tough. There's a brand that says it's been engineered for smaller engines. Well, Quaker State has been tested tough for small engines in Japan, in Europe, and in America. In fact, Quaker State has toughed out the most demanding specs for every size engine in every size car sold in the U.S. What makes any size Quaker State engine so tough? Quality engineered Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
Man, what a day. I could sure use a vacation.
Yeah, I'd like to be right here.
Ice cold buds.
Hey, maybe tomorrow we should bring the boss.
Nah.
Now available for the first time, the complete recordings of Olga Montero and her magic harp, including such classics as...
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Back at Dover Downs International Speedway, the Monster Mile hosting Busch Series competition today as we approach the halfway point, and Michael Waltrip is leading, but he is yet to make his scheduled pit stop. And Harry Gant in the car number 7 there runs in second spot. They have been working pretty heavy lap traffic, and Ned, just moments ago, looked like Harry Gant had slowed a little bit.
Well, it looked like he did for just a moment, Jerry, but then he picked back up when they came into that heavy traffic. He might have just paused there for a moment to analyze that traffic ahead and see which way he was going to go.
That may have been because it was pretty heavy, and he felt like that Michael Walker was going to take that Kool-Aid man in there kind of reckless, and he didn't want to be a part of it. But Michael did a good job, got through the traffic.
Well, they're coming up for the halfway mark. 100 laps down and 100 to go.
Now, there has been a history, as you saw Benny Parsons tell you earlier in our track fact, about people running out of fuel here at Dover, Delaware. A couple of years ago, Brad Teague seemed to have this race won, and with a few laps to go, the car coughed, sputtered in turn 3, and coasted down pit road. Harry Gant in the past has run out of fuel here, and Michael Waltrip has now run 100 laps here on a tank of fuel.
Here's Ernie Irvin in the You Can Rent Oldsmobile. He is currently running in the 6th position, so he has moved up through the field quite well.
That car is owned by Charlie Henderson. That's the car that Rick Wilson drove to a victory here in this race a year ago. Brad Teague drove the car earlier in the year at Daytona. Ernie Irvin qualifying that car back in the pack.
23rd position he started, Jerry, so he has moved up to the 6th.
Ronald Cooper now beginning to move in somewhat on Ernie Irvin. Cooper now driving the Buick. Remember, we told you earlier in the year he began with the Ford Thunderbird. This is the same T-Bird that he actually wrecked at Rockingham on ESPN. They took the sheet metal off, put Buick Regal on it, and now he is closing in, as is Tommy Houston.
Yeah, they're running 6th, 7th, and 8th in trouble. For the car number 12 of Jeff Burton, a lot of smoke coming from that car. Will we see a caution? Yes, we will, and it's going to be a break for Michael Waltrip because he was due for a pit stop within 10 laps.
And Davey Johnson also getting in possibly some oil and spinning his car number 26 down there. So what a break for Michael Waltrip and Dick Trickle. And it would have been a break for Jeff Burton because he had not pitted yet, but unfortunately he was the reason for the yellow flag. Jeff Burton smoking Armor meets Buick coming down pit road. Tough break for the youngster there, and the car seems to be rolling down pit road.
Jeff was in 11th in the Busch Grand National point standings going into this race.
He went to the points like, I mean, he went to the pits like maybe that they could fix the car and get back out. Well, it certainly didn't look like they could fix it by the amount of smoke that the car let out when he went down in turn 1. But they're looking like they have some thoughts of fixing it.
We'll wait and see if possibly we know that Waltrip will have to pit. Will Harry Gant come back in to the attention of Chris Carrier and the crew?
I think he will, Jerry. I think he'll come in and take on left side tires this time. That's just pure speculation on my part, but we'll see.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, Ned. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, I'm not going to disagree with 2 Winston Cup champions up here. As we'll see in just a moment, the pit lane has been closed, and now as the pace car comes through turns 3 and 4, they will open the pit lane, and we'll watch Michael Waltrip and Harry Gant, as our 2 experts have said, come down pit road and get there. Remember, you're only allowed a 2-tire change in Busch Grand National Series rules. That's why you're not seeing 4-tire changes here. And here they come on pit road. Let's go down to the pits and John Kernan.
Michael Waltrip brings a Kool-Aid Pontiac into the pits. It will be only a 2-tire change. Michael on top of the screen. Harry Gant's pit crew busily working on the bottom of of the screen. Charles Wright working on the right front tire, very swift on the right rear. Gant taking on left side tires, a little bit of difference now. The gas is in. Gant beats Michael Waltrip out of the pits. They had a little bit of trouble refueling Michael. It might have been the fact that Harry had pitted once before and put as much gas in his car while Waltrip was almost empty. They were coming in just a few laps anyway.
Michael Waltrip hit that 56 car leaving the pits now?
He came awfully close. I don't know if he did or not, but that pit lane was very, very crowded, and Michael Waltrip came very close to hitting Ronald Cooper.
There was a huge tire mark on the right door of the Ronald Cooper automobile, and I don't know if that was Michael's tire print or not.
Let's take a look and see again in the pits if we can see exactly what happened. Very, a whole lot of congestion now. The cars, there's the one car pulling out, and yes.
That was Bobby Hamilton and Resendez, I think. I don't see the Michael Waltrip car. I think he's already left the pits.
Oldsmobile safety car is the field in tow. Michael Waltrip could not get out of the pits quick enough, and Harry Gant will be shown as the leader. 106 laps complete. Still got plenty of action to come your way. Stay tuned.
What could a sleek Jaguar have in common with a fat cat that a dashing deer has in common with a nimble ram and a big bad bulldog has in common with a cute little rabbit? The same quality filter protection you can give whatever animal it is you drive. From Purolator, the world's largest filter company.
Fastest and most exotic Mercedes-Benz comes on Goodyear Eagle radials, and only on Goodyear Eagle radials. Why? Because the engineers at Mercedes-Benz want it that way. And they're another reason why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Dickies thinks you dads out there are pretty special. And we all know there are no two dads alike. Each dad has that special something, could be anything, that makes him different from all the rest. But when it comes to pants, dads don't have to be different. Dickies have that traditional style that never goes out of style, and since 1922, they've been a standard for dads the world over. No matter what kind of dad you have, treat him to a pair of Dickies, available every day at our famous low prices. Dickies for someone special. Made with 412 polyester from Fiber Industries.
We hope you're enjoying today's Busch Grand National Series Racing live from the Monster Mile here in Dover, Delaware. It's stop number 13 of the 31 race Busch Grand National Series Tour for 1990. Today's Speed World coverage brought to you by Goodyear Eagle Radials, the best-selling performance radials in the world. By Dickies, they're America's favorite work clothes. And by Champion, makers of the high-output technology spark plug, the world's most advanced. Dover, Delaware under caution here for trouble with the Jeff Burton car.
And the signal now, Jerry, for one more lap, and we'll go back to green flag racing.
Take a look at the top 10 here, Ned and Benny, as we stand. Harry Gant now, by virtue of that quick pit stop, is shown as the leader. Mark Martin, who also pitted for left side tires, is second. Bobby Labonte. Michael Waltrip, who came in as a leader and came out in fourth spot. Ronald Cooper is fifth. 6 through 10, Tommy Houston. Steve Grissom, another great run by the Steve Bird-led crew. Tom Peck. Chuck Bown, our current point leader, and Dick Trickle, who had finally gotten in and got some tires on that car, is showing in the 10th spot.
And Jerry, there are 14 cars on the lead lap. Jack Ingram is running 11th. 12th is the Elton Sawyer car, number 27. 13th is Ernie Irvin, and in 14th place is Jack Sprague. 14 cars on the lead lap.
Good run for Jack Sprague.
John Kernan checked with the Michael Waltrip crew. I speculated he might have made contact with Ronald Cooper during that pit stop, but they said they did not believe that he did. He certainly hadn't said anything about it on the radio.
Getting set for green flag action once again. There'll be 90 laps to go when they come by this time. Bobby Scruggs waving the green flag. Harry Gant takes off.
He did get off to a good start. Now, Michael Waltrip has on fresh right side tires, although he is in fourth place. Harry Gant has on fresh left side tires. We'll see which works the best.
Michael Waltrip wasting no time trying to get to the outside and move around Bobby Labonte. Moving in on the LD Ottinger car.
That for position, that's third spot. The 44, the red 44.
How about it, John Curtin? Harry Gant's got to be feeling pretty comfortable now with his tires.
Well, you're exactly right. Remember, he had pitted earlier, took on right side tires. Now he has fresh left side tires. Chris Carrier told him the car would be a little bit loose to take it easy, but it doesn't look to me like Harry is planning to take it easy at all for the first few laps.
It is hard to get Hurry and Harry Gant to take it easy anywhere.
You know, he said that the car's going to be a little bit loose. People say, well, why would it be loose when you change left sides? Because they may be new tires, and they would be smaller than the ones that they just took off. So therefore, the stagger would open up. As he runs the car, they will grow, they'll get larger, and the stagger will close back up and make the car tighter.
I'd say he is making every effort to get those tires to grow right now. He is burning it up down on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to pull away, and he is pulled away by some 7 car lengths over Mark Martin. The battle there between Martin and young Bobby Labonte for second spot. Michael Waltrip gets about 3 car lengths back watching those twosome, and now Labonte will try to make a move to the inside.
Martin's car going up the racetrack just a little bit. Labonte's sticking down on the bottom of the racetrack, and it gives the opening that Labonte needed.
Mark Martin told me last night he did not have a lot of horsepower. He felt that they were down about 60 horsepower to the Buick's V6 and the only Ford in the field, so he could just run this car wide open around the racetrack, but it's not quite enough when they come off the corner.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's no lack of horsepower in that car number 30. Michael Waltrip already moving back into second place. Harry Gant right now, Jerry, is turning laps at around 25.70. When we had the lap speed of Michael Waltrip earlier on the screen, it was 26.2, so they're running about a half a second faster, and that is as a result of newer tires.
That's almost 140 miles an hour for Gant, but as you said, there is Harry Gant coming out of turn 2. Mike Waltrip, who has that Mike Fryer engine on board, his Kool-Aid Country Time Pontiac, now trying to run him down.
Here is Tommy Houston. That is, I believe, for position.
Tommy Houston trying to stay in front of Tom Peck. Tom Peck really smoking those tires. The McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania driver. This is Tom Peck's home racetrack. It only lives about 3 hours from here, right across from McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh.
He's certainly working on Tommy Houston right now, trying to move on the inside.
And he did it. He is on the inside. Looks like he may take the position away going down in turn 1.
They're about a turn behind the leaders. Tom Peck, no stranger at all, to turning that wheel left and right. He grew up in dirt track racing late models up in Hagerstown, Maryland, and in Williams Grove, Pennsylvania, one of the more famous short tracks in this part of the country. Tom Peck, who had a great run at Daytona, qualified 4th there on the super speedways, and is really coming to his own this year in Busch racing.
We have seen him have some good runs here on ESPN. At Darlington, he finished in the top 5 and has had some very good runs.
Back up front, they begin to mix it up a little bit as we watch. There's Harry Gant on the left of your picture, but the battle now shaping up between Labonte and Michael Waltrip. Young Bobby Labonte not letting Michael Waltrip get away at all.
No, he isn't. He passed Labonte there a moment ago, but it was just after Labonte had passed Mark Martin, and I don't think that he had really got himself settled into a groove at that time, but now he has settled into a groove and has run Michael Waltrip down. Meanwhile, Harry Gant has pulled away a little bit from the 2nd and 3rd place cars. You can see the distance there now. It's Gant on the bottom of your screen, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Mark Martin running in 4th, and Ford number 1.
Now, in all fairness, we talk about the youth of Bobby Labonte. Bobby's 26 years old. He's a newcomer. We talk about what a marvelous job he's doing for a young driver. Well, Michael Waltrip's 27, a year older, but Mike's been around a while.
Well, that's right. We think of Michael Waltrip as older because he's been around so long. Bobby Labonte, a rookie this year in the Busch Grand Nationals, and we think of him as a kid. Rob Moroso, we think as in terms of Michael Waltrip. What's Moroso? 21, 22 years old? So, sorry, Bobby, right? We didn't know you was an old guy.
Well, the veteran Harry Gant at 50 years of age is leading the way here at Dover, Delaware, and some youngsters are chasing him. 120 laps complete, 80 to go here in the Budweiser 200. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Introducing the all-new DR and Street Legal Dual Sport models from Suzuki.
When was the last time you had the kind of car that brings the road alive? Have you driven a Ford? Then you don't know what you're missing. Have you driven a Ford? Driven a Ford? Have you driven a Ford lately?
We're back at the Monster Mile as our little monster pulls by and lets you know we are here nowhere else but Dover, Delaware. 24-degree bankings, one of the most demanding one-mile tracks in America. And right now, Michael Waltrip and the youngster Bobby Labonte, and Labonte trying to move to the inside. What a tremendous job Labonte has done. He sat on the pole here today, his first ever Busch pole or Busch Series pole, and for that, Goodyear will be donating a check for $1,000 to the Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary in the name of Bobby Labonte. Goodyear, of course, making that donation in the name of our pole sitter today, and Bobby would like to get that donation as well as a few other donations here today by picking up his first Winston Busch Series win.
I bet you Michael Waltrip right now is wishing he had stopped and changed those right sides at the 50-lap mark. Change those tires at the 50-lap mark, because he stopped now, but those other cars have an advantage on them. They've got 50 less miles on their right sides. We see Tom Peck, we saw him just a moment ago trying to chase down the 6 car.
He's a 7th place car now. Watch him in the turns here.
I think he went in there and really had to hit his brakes, and it got him all out of shape as he came off of turn 2. He probably got on the gas a little bit too quick again.
Boy, I tell you what, he did a great job. Say, look, Labonte's on the inside of Michael Waltrip. He might have him coming off turn 4.
Pontiac of Michael Waltrip, Oldsmobile, car number 44. That's Labonte. The Ford about 3 car lengths back is Mark Martin.
Come on, Labonte, now I'm getting too excited. Ooh, Michael slipped badly off that corner over there.
Made it easy for both of those drivers to move right around on the inside.
And Ed, you talked about that tar on the racetrack. That's what that was just a moment ago. Michael Waltrip caught just a spot of that tar over there, and the car jumped sideways on it.
So now Bobby Labonte moves into 2nd, Mark Martin to 3rd, Michael Waltrip drops back to 4th. And Benny, I think you're right. I think he wishes that he had those fresh left side tires on. Had he taken on right sides when Gant and the others did early in the race, Bobby Labonte and Mark Martin both took on right side tires at about what, the 50 or 60 lap mark. And now they have on fresh left side tires. Gant pulling away.
So worn tires plaguing Michael Waltrip right now. He has now dropped back to the 4th spot. And we'll see if 26-year-old Bobby Labonte can reel in that man, Harry Gant, as they come out of turn 2. Gant just about a straightaway separation now as he is pulled away. Back in the pack, a couple of cars racing back for the 6th spot. That would be Ronald Cooper. There's the Tom Peck car, number 96. The car that had been slipping and sliding. Peck is currently being shown in the 8th position. Just in front of him, the car number 63, there is Chuck Bown, the Nescafe Coffee's Pontiac, the Hubert and Jeff Hensley maintained machine. He is being shown in the 7th spot. He is trying to reel in Ronald Cooper, the car number 56 of Cooper. Chuck Bown, of course, our current point leader in Busch Series competition, holds a 20-point bulge over Jimmy Hensley.
Ernie Irvin in the 75 automobile, the Houston Red Oldsmobile.
They made a pit stop when the yellow flag was out a little bit ago for the Jeff Burton car. Then they came back down pit road just before the green came out, so he started shotgun on the field, and he has climbed his way back up in the 9th position on the lead lap.
They have taken the Bobby Hamilton car behind the pit wall for the fans in Nashville, Tennessee. Bobby Hamilton is out of the race.
Car number 33. The Dick Trickle machine, and car number 6 of the right of your screen, a couple of veteran drivers. That's Tommy Houston, veteran Busch Series driver. Tommy making his 250th consecutive start in Busch Series competition today. He has not missed a single race in this, the 9th year of the Busch Series Tour. Back up front, Harry Gant showing the way. Hurry and Harry from Taylorsville, North Carolina. When Harry Gant first made his name in Winston Cup racing, it came at this racetrack driving for Jack Beebe. Everyone remembers that Harry Gant line back years ago. He ran right up on the wall.
I remember it well. He took that 47 car up where nobody had been before, and what, he finished second that day, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah.
Well, he finished second every race about that year. He finished, I think he finished second 7 or 9 times, something like that, before he ever won a race.
Let's check in the pits with John Kernan. John?
Well, the reason Mark Martin is beginning to fall back, like Rick Mast earlier and some others, he has lost a cylinder. He just buzzed by. You can hear he's only running on 5, so a tough break for Mark Martin.
Well, when you're already under horsepower to the other cars in the field and then lose the cylinder, it really does put you at a disadvantage. One thing about it, though, that car has always handled well. You can see it goes through the corners real well, and that'll allow him to still maintain a reasonable speed.
Bill Davis is trying to be as loyal as he can to Ford. That car is sponsored by the Carolina Ford dealer. He told me, said, I would like to run my Ford, and I'm the only Ford out here right now for the Series Championship in 1991, and he's looking possibly to get a sponsor, and I'm sure that if they could find a good effort, he would like to, because a Ford has never won the Busch Series Championship. In fact, it was right here that a Ford won its first ever Busch Series race with Mark Martin aboard back a couple of years ago.
Of course, he'd have to get another driver, too, because Mark Martin would not be able to run all of the Busch races. Here's a race he would not be able to run all the Busch races and the Winston Cup Series, too.
That's a race for 5th spot. Bound trying to get by the 56 car driven by Ronald Cooper. That's the 63 car on the inside, Chuck Bound. The 96, Tom Peck. 75 car, Ernie Irvin. And there, Joe Nemechek blows, or looks like he has an engine problem. Going in turn 1, and the caution flag is out once again.
Tough break for Joe Nemechek, the rookie driver from Lakeland, Florida. That's the car prepared by Donnie Allison. There's Joe Nemechek, the rookie driver. Donnie Allison, the crew chief on that car, as he erupts an engine here. 139 laps complete. It's getting exciting at Dover, Delaware. Don't go away. We'll be back after this.
ESPN Home Video presents Bill Elliott Racing into History, the only video that shows you why this man became a racer and how he became a champion. Hosted by ESPN's Benny Parsons, you'll feel the excitement of driving with Bill as he wins NASCAR's biggest prize, the Winston Million. Order your copy for only $19.95. Call 1-800-533-1800. Racing into History lets you enjoy the excitement of driving with Bill again and again. Call today, 1-800-533-1800.
Sometimes you know when you've made a difference.
Unit 14 on the scene.
Somehow you found the time.
We're going to take good care of you.
You learned the skills.
Take the airway.
You met the challenges. And now you are the difference between life and death.
BP and rate are stable, looking good.
Make a difference with your life. Be a part of your local emergency medical services. Volunteer or start a career. A public service message from Quantum Chemical Corporation.
If you have watched it, they have come to college baseball's field of dreams.
The NCAA College World Series continues today at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Back at Dover, Delaware, it's a race down pit road. Bobby Labonte and Harry Gant have pitted, and looks like Bobby Labonte, by virtue of his pit selection, will be able to get back out in front of Harry Gant after changing 2 tires.
But unfortunately, Michael Waltrip and Mark Martin beat both those cars out of the pits. Harry Gant had an extremely long pit stop, had some trouble on the right front of the automobile, automobile. It looked like all the lug nuts fell off the wheel when they threw the wheel up on the hub. All the lug nuts, they normally glue them to the wheel, they all fell off. They had to pick them up off the ground and stick them back on the lug studs. But the 75 car, Ernie Irvan did not pit, so therefore he's our leader.
Well, a good run for Ernie Irvan, having qualified in 23rd spot. The Charlie Henderson-owned Oldsmobile, the You Can Rent Olds, and Ernie Irvan is our leader here at Dover, Delaware. Caution flag being displayed again for the erupted engine of Joe Nemechek. Now, that car of Nemechek's is prepared by Donnie Allison. We might want to mention that Eddie Allison, the eldest of the Alabama gang, is recuperating at a hospital in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, after total hip replacement, and we would like to send our best wishes along to Eddie. Let's take a look at some of the pit stops here. We will show you just a moment ago Harry Gant on the bottom of your screen and Bobby Labonte. They go to the right side of the Harry Gant car, and here's Labonte's car into the pits, and they go to the right side of that machine as well. Let's listen. Bobby Labonte's car back on the racetrack, and there's the car number 1 that made an excellent pit stop. That is the Mark Martin, Bill Davis crew, Carolina Ford dealers, and they came in.
And they had a little different strategy, Jerry. When they came into the pits, they took on left side tires, and so we'll see how that works for them.
Well, they took on left sides, I'm sure, Ned, because they're on 5 cylinders. They're not going to be able to run with these fellas on. So the quicker they can make a pit stop, the better off they'll be. So change left sides. It's a couple of seconds faster changing left sides than it is right sides, because the jackman, the crew, doesn't have to go as far.
And he right now is in second place as a result of that. Ernie Irvan, as we said, did not stop, so he's the leader.
So Ernie Irvan didn't pit. He will stay on the racetrack and be our leader when we go back to green. Mark Martin, by virtue of that left side tire change, although he's a cylinder down, is in second spot. Michael Waltrip having a fresh tire change in third. Bobby Labonte is fourth, and Grissom is fifth. Stay tuned.
There are all kinds of sophisticated instruments designed to let you express yourself. And Ford has one you'll want to take on the road. Ford Probe. It's a very powerful way to express yourself. And once you've started playing, you may never want to stop.
Now get 2.9 financing for up to 48 months or $1,500 cash bonus on Ford Probe.
Introducing the all-new DR and Street Legal Dual Sport models from Suzuki.
Back at Dover, Delaware, the waning laps here of the Budweiser 200. Caution out for the blown engine of Joe Nemechek. And now the Oldsmobile safety car up in turns 3 and 4. Ernie Irvan in the car number 75 showing the way.
What's that smoke coming out of that car? Is that smoke coming out of that 75 car? Maybe I'm seeing things, but I thought I saw some smoke coming out of that automobile.
Well, we're about ready to get the green flag. We'll see.
We'll see some smoke now as he will come up through the gearbox and try to pull away from Mark Martin. Remember, Martin is already being shown as a cylinder down. He is a second place car. Lap 146, Bobby Scruggs showing the green flag.
Now we see Michael Waltrip just drive by the 5-cylinder car of Mark Martin.
That's a Robert Presley car, number 59, that's trying to stay in there. Presley, a rookie last year, picked up a win up at Rougemont last August. He's one of the lap cars to the outside, and there is Steve Grissom. Impressive run for Grissom.
He got a good restart, passed Bobby Labonte and several other cars on the restarts, and hit them driving by Steve Grissom in the Big Mama meets car number 31. Puts him up in third place.
Big Mama Meat Snacks Oldsmobile. That's a Steve Bird prepared car. Bird, who was the crew chief for Rob Moroso last year when he won the Busch Series championship. He's holding right in there, holding his own with Michael Waltrip, and Ernie Irvan is trying to hold that bottom groove, but those tires are a little bit too worn.
Yep, and Michael Waltrip with fresh right side tires just jumps right up on there and moves around.
Steve Grissom sitting there, got a bird's eye view of that battle between Mike Waltrip and Ernie Irvin. And Irvin gets tapped, spins, catches Grissom. Heavy debris. Now Chuck Bown's front of his car catches the hood off of the Irvin machine.
That's exactly right, Jerry. The hood flew off the 75 automobile, and poor old Chuck Bown ran right into it.
Well, that's a narrow place on the racetrack. When you come off at 2 and the car gets in trouble, there's just not a lot of... And look how much damage it did on Chuck Bown's car.
That's the hood of the car. That's the hood of the other car hung on the front of his car.
Oh, okay. So it is bang on that.
That's the hood. I mean, it's I guess you're allowed to have 2 hoods at this time of day, but you see that hood scraping on the pavement there, the Nescafe Coffee Pontiac, and that's the hood off the Oldsmobile of Ernie Irvin's car.
Well, now Chuck Bown is shown in 5th place. He's going to have to make a pit stop and give up that valuable track position.
Look at the Yukon Red hood.
That hood impaled in the left front fender of the Chuck Bown machine. Let's take a look at it again to see what happened.
Well, Ernie Irvin trying to come back up on the outside of Michael Waltrip as they come off of turn 2, and they touch a little bit. Irvin goes into the wall, comes down and collects Steve Grissom, spins him the wrong way, and Irvin spins to the inside, and then the hood flies off of the Ernie Irvin car into Chuck Bowen's path.
Another angle. Let's take a look at a different view from looking down the back straightaway, Benny.
Exactly what happened. Michael Waltrip and Ernie got together. Steve Grissom gets hit in the right rear of his car, spins around. There we see the hood. Now watch this hood in the middle of the speedway. Along comes the red car, and boom! Speared it in the left front. That's what impale means, isn't it, Jerry?
Impaled. Impale means it got stuck in the front of the car. That's
right. It might be a good thing that thing was as low as it was. What if it comes up in the windshield?
Well, that's one reason those bars are there. We see those 4 bars in the windshield. That's one reason they're there, to stop debris from coming in on the driver.
Jeff Henson there kneeling with talking on the radio. And here is part of what's left of the Ernie Irvin You Can Rent Oldsmobile. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, as you can see, the front end torn off, the left front fender gone, the right front fender is bent up, the front end is gone. Ernie has taken his helmet off. He's sitting in the car talking to his Winston Cup crew chief, Tony Glover. Now, Ernie is coming out of the car, and we'll see if we can get a word with him. Ernie, what happened out there?
Oh, evidently Michael didn't see me on the outside of me, and outside of him pinching me up against the fence.
Damage too badly to continue?
Yeah, you know, we're just here to race the races, and I'm not here for the points, so they know you can put her back together now.
Well, last night, Ernie had told me he had the car to charge to the front, and it ends in disappointment here at the Monster Mile.
Let's take a look one more time at what happened up there now. That's Michael Waltrip on the inside, Irvin on the outside, and they get very close.
Yes, they do. In fact, they might touch a little bit, and Irvin goes up into the wall, comes down off of the wall, collects the car number 31 of Steve Grissom, who was running in 3rd place. Irvin goes to the inside of the racetrack, and then, of course, the hood goes out into the path of Chuck Bowen.
Now, Grissom did one whale of a job keeping his car from being tagged in the outside wall and keeping it again from coming across to the inside. As the crew that Charlie Henderson owned, the Oldsmobile, pushed that car, what's left of that car, back behind the wall. 50 laps to go here at Dover, Delaware. Michael Waltrip showing the way. Steve Grissom comes down pit road. A tough break for Steve Grissom in the Big Mama Meat Stacks car, as they will change right side tires and work on that machine. We will have 50 laps left to go. Michael Waltrip trying to hold off the challenges of a couple of veteran drivers, Harry Gant, Mark Martin, the youngster Bobby the Body, and Tommy Houston. We'll see who's going to win it when we come back after this.
The Ford Thunderbird. A perfect car for a nice Sunday drive.
Now get 7.9 financing for up to 48 months or $1,300 cash bonus on Ford Thunderbird.
Introducing the all-new DR and Street Legal Dual Sport models from Suzuki.
If you want to take great care of your lawn, just remember a great name, Craftsman.
And right now, this Craftsman 2 power-propelled 4-horsepower mower with a 22-inch cut is just $288.
And there's only one place to get it. Sears.
Back at Dover, Delaware, under the 4th caution flag of the day for an incident over in turn 2 involving the lead cars. And we'll take a look one more time and show you exactly what happened.
Okay, they were racing for the front position. Michael Waltrip gets down on the inside, passes Ernie Irvin going into turn 1, or at least he thinks he has him passed. But Ernie Irvin comes back up on the outside. And fellas, I don't think Michael Waltrip knows Ernie Irvin is out there.
I'm sure he doesn't. You know, that's exactly what happened to Michael Waltrip in Bristol. He was going by Robert Presley, and Presley didn't realize he was there, moved up. Michael ran in the wall and just knocked a wall down and destroyed a race car. That's exactly what happened there. Michael didn't realize Ernie was there. Otherwise, he'd have certainly given him room.
Well, there are 13 cars in the lead lap now that Ernie Irvin has gone out. There were 14. Michael Waltrip leading. Harry Gant second. Third is Mark Martin. Fourth, Bobby Labonte. Tommy Houston is fifth. Sixth, Tom Peck. Seventh is Ronald Cooper. Eighth, Dick Trickle. Ninth, Jack Sprague. 10th, Elton Sawyer. 11th, Jack Ingram having a good run here today. Didn't make the field at Charlotte last week, but running 11th today. 12th is Chuck Bown, and 13th now is Steve Grissom.
Well, while the safety crews are trying to get the track cleaned up from that debris over in turn 2, we'll take this break as we get set for the remaining laps here at Dover. Stay tuned.
Now get 7.9 financing for up to 48 months or $1,300 cash bonus on Ford Thunderbird.
To make wrenching fast and easy, you can either do this or get this, the Skill Wrench Cordless Power Wrench. It's revolutionary.
Before they turn pro, before they make the Olympic team, they start here at the Golden Gloves National Championships, Monday at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific on ESPN.
Green flag waving here. We're back underway at Dover, Delaware in the Budweiser 200. And now we'll see if the fresh tires will enable Michael Waltrip, who may have had the strongest car early on, but the tires have gotten a little worn, if he can pull away and possibly hold off the charge of Harry Gant and Bobby Labonte. That is Mike Waltrip's car number 30, the lead car, then the lap car of Robert Presley, the car number 59, the Alliance Truck and Tractor Training Center's car.
Now, Jerry, none of the front runners pitted on this caution. Of course, Steve Grissom did, and Chuck Bown, as a result of the problems they had in being involved in that wreck. But evidently, Waltrip and Gant, Mark Martin, all happy with the tires they have on and ready to go for the run to the end, which is there's about 43 laps to go.
Well, fuel shouldn't be a problem. They've all pitted past the halfway point there with fuel, and they all have the tires they can go with. And Michael Waltrip, you said earlier, Ned, Michael Waltrip's Pontiac was so strong. The Mike Fryer engine in that car prepared by Ronnie Silver is really pulling him by 3 or 4 car lengths.
And it looks like Martin, as you see a little smoke, I believe, from that Ford. He had lost a cylinder. I believe he's lost more than a cylinder now. Going high, and a lot of smoke coming from the car now. He's just moved high on the racetrack, let the traffic go by, and he'll try to get it down into the pits.
You know, Mike was complimenting Don Kowalski last night. I mean, they have worked so hard trying to put this Ford V6 program together, and Kowalski, they've won races with under-horsepowered cars because of the handling, but it gives up the ghost here today. The Bill Davis car heads down pit road, and Mark Martin will head back toward the garage area.
Look at this. Oh, I thought that was Labonte. Who? I thought Labonte was on the outside of Harry Gant. But that was the outside of Robert Presley trying to put him another lap down to the third place automobile.
Robert Presley is 1 lap down in 14th place right now. In fact, there are 6 cars that are 1 lap down, including Robert Presley in 14th, and 15th is Patty Moise. She's a lap down. Here's a good battle with Dick Trickle in 33 and Ronald Cooper in 56 battling for 7th.
Ronald Cooper in the Buick up high. Dick Trickle in the Fayroe truck stop. Of course, Dick Trickle winning his first Busch pole will lead him tomorrow here in the Budweiser 500. We will have an end car in the Dick Trickle car, the Kel Yarborough Motorsports machine for tomorrow.
You know, Bush pole qualifying is very, very competitive at all racetracks, but if pole qualifying can be dominated, this fellow Dick Trickle dominated Winston Cup qualifying yesterday. He beat the field by over 1 mile an hour. Great things, it looks like, are in store for Dick Trickle tomorrow.
Trickle holding the bottom groove there. Ronald Cooper trying to hold him off.
If the monster don't get him.
Well, the monster has perhaps gotten the car number 31 of Steve Grissom, who was involved. He was running in third place. It was just black flagged for going too slow out on the racetrack, so they did not get all the repairs needed on that Oldsmobile, the Big Mama car. So now they're checking to see if they can make other repairs to get him back out there. Tough break for this young man because he had moved up, was running a solid third when he was taken out of the race, not of his own doing.
That's Steve Grissom, the car owned by his dad, Wayne Grissom, and of course Steve Bird and the crew working on the car.
And trouble going into turn 3. Big trouble. Patty Moise, Dave Resendez in car number 79. That's Patty Moise in car number 45. See other cars going by on the outside.
There is a wheel flying around there, like a wheel fell off one of these automobiles.
Heavy contact in turn 3. Patty Moise's Buick has come to rest there. That's the car number 45, the 79 of Dave Resendez. Resendez, a former modified open-wheel competitor, now running in the Busch Tour, who had a great run, who nearly won at Nazareth, Pennsylvania just a few weeks ago. Finished second up there for his best ever career Busch Series finish. He takes the window netting down, still sitting in the car, moving around. That's Dave Resendez in the car number 79.
Crew chief on that car is Darrell Bryant, veteran crew chief for a number of years in Winston Cup competition, as well as a former driver.
30-year-old Dave Resendez, his Oldsmobile hitting heavy contact there in the wall. Safety crew checking with him, and there's Patty Moise, who has climbed out of her car, and she walks over to chat with Dave Resendez to make sure he is okay. And now Dave climbs out of his car.
Well, that's good news to see both of those drivers climbing out and walking away.
Let's take a look and see exactly what happened.
Here we see Resendez and Patty Moise going down the back straightaway, and guess what? They make contact.
Yeah, Resendez started to turn to go into the third turn. Patty Moise trying to make the pass going in there. That's Tom Peck going by on the outside in the blue car. And Moise spins down on the inside, comes back up into the path of, I beg your pardon, it was the other way around. It was Resendez spinning down and coming back up into the 45 car of Patty Moise, and both of them high on the racetrack into the outside retaining wall.
Heavy contact. Patty Moise's Buick is heavy front end damage, while there's rear end damage to the car number 79 of Dave Resendez. We are under caution here for the 5th time today at Dover, Delaware, and the monster continues to gobble them up here in Busch Series racing. Stay tuned, a lot of action yet to come. We'll be back.
If you love cars, you'll love Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring. Every week, Auto Week puts you inside the world's most exciting cars. GTs, sports sedans, collector cars, 4x4s, front drivers. Auto Week makes you an insider with industry news, personality profiles, old cars, columnists, the best classified anywhere. And nobody covers racing like Auto Week. You get the fastest coverage of Formula One, sports cars, stockers, Indy cars. It's all in Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring every week. Call 1-800-554-3000 to get a full year of Auto Week at our special discount price. Just $19.95 for 52 issues, only 38 cents a week. You'll save 80% off the newsstand price. Call 1-800-554-3000. Let Auto Week put you in the driver's seat every week.
Back at Dover, Delaware, here the Monster Mile, where we will have a lot of Busch Series racing. Coming up next, though, a doubleheader, the College World Series, live from Omaha, Nebraska. The LSU Tigers taking on the surprising and impressive Citadel Bulldogs. Now, Citadel, who eliminated, of course, the perennial baseball power Miami Hurricanes here in the Eastern Regionals earlier last week, and they are in the College World Series in Omaha against LSU. First of a doubleheader, that's coming up next at 4 p.m. today on ESPN. And then, of course, tomorrow we're right back here at the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware, for the Budweiser 500. Dick Trickle, sitting on the pole for the first time ever in Busch pole competition, will lead the charge at 12 noon live. Here, Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, myself, and John Kernan will cover the lap-by-lap action all afternoon tomorrow. And, of course, right now coming in on the hook she would have liked to have had a good finish today after a great qualifying effort, Patty Moise. And, of course, Patty Moise walks over, and they have a little conversation.
Well, she wasn't asking Resendez how he was feeling. I mean, she was a little more personal than that. Why did you do that to me, she wanted to know.
I'm sure his question was probably the same.
It was exactly the same. And, and now then, do you think they made him go in the same ambulance to the hospital?
Let's see what happened here again.
Well, Resendez just started to make the left turn into turn 3. Well, really, he wasn't quite to the turn yet, but he'd already started to make his entrance into the turn. Came down and clipped Patty Moise. She had started to pass him, and she clipped him. So they clipped each other, and around they went and into the wall.
Well, no good deed ever goes unpunished, of course. And, of course, like she was trying to get there, and he was trying to move out of the way, and they came together, and now both cars, heavy damage for that Amway Buick for Patty Moise, and likewise a tough break for Dave Resendez.
And, of course, they were racing for position. And, Jerry, that puts us now where there are only 10 cars on the lead lap. Just a few laps ago, there were 13 cars on the lead lap, but the number 34 car of Jack Sprague has pitted and gone a lap down. And, of course, Mark Martin going out of the race recently, and the car number 31 of Steve Grissom being black flagged. So now only 10 cars on the lead lap.
Michael Waltrip leading here. We might mention the qualifying and IndyCar racing at Milwaukee. Rick Mears is on the pole up there in his Penske 90 Chevrolet powered machine. Danny Sullivan on the outside up there. Those guys trying to make up for their abysmal luck at Indianapolis here last week. Here we have Busch Grand National Series racing as the lap's winding down. Michael Waltrip trying to hold off here again. It should get exciting. Stay tuned.
If you want to take great care of your lawn, just remember a great name, Craftsman.
And right now, this Craftsman 2 power-propelled 4-horsepower mower with a 22-inch cut is just $288.
And there's only one place to get it, Sears.
Santa Fe. For centuries, men have been mysteriously drawn to it. Santa Fe Cologne for Men. Discover the mystery of its attraction.
Baseball tonight. Tuesday, Friday, doubleheader. Wednesday, ain't nothing better. Catch it Sunday, watch the fun. Sunday night,
The Twins face the White Sox on Sunday Night Baseball, live at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Baseball tonight.
Back at Dover, Delaware, the Oldsmobile safety car now has those lead cars in tow as we are just completing this latest caution flag of the afternoon, the 5th caution for the spinning cars of Patty Moise and Dave Resendez. Out of the race early, Darrell Waltrip, mechanical problems. Morgan Shepherd, heavy contact in the wall. Rick Mast, Jeff Spraker, Jeff Burton among the other cars out of the race here. Dana Patton, Ron Lamell Jr., L.D. Ottinger experiencing mechanical problems. Joe Nemechek having a blown engine. Ernie Irvin involved in an accident. Mark Martin, engine expiring in his Ford. And the latest two for this caution, Patty Moise and Dave Resendez.
Still trying to clean up the debris over in turn 3 where we had the accident between Moise and Resendez. They have to pay a lot of attention. The crews have to pay a lot of attention because one little sliver of metal off these automobiles can puncture a tire. Therefore, the tire going flat and the driver have to make an unscheduled pit stop. And it's a shame when someone goes as far as they have now, 170 laps, and a flat tire would cost them a shot at victory.
Great crowd on hand here today for Busch Series Racing. When they built this track in '69, they said maybe we'll get 30,000. Well, they got more than 30,000 here today for Busch Series Racing. Stay tuned. It's exciting. We'll be back.
Don't stop short of the beat, 'cause second best won't do. There's a pride in peak performance.
Take more than 650 horsepower, wide open, for 500 miles. You need maximum protection to cool it.
I want the maximum going for me. That's why I've got peak on my cars and in my cars every time.
Don't stop short of the peak. No, don't stop short of the peak.
Dickies takes you back through the ages to show you a few of the famous people who worn Dickies pants. Your dad, General George Armstrong Custer, Abraham Lincoln, Blackbeard the Pirate, William Shakespeare, Robin Hood, Attila the Hun. You too can wear these famous pants by Dickies. Available every day at famous low prices. Dickies, famous since 1922. Attila the Hun, made with Portrait polyester by Fiber Industries.
Nothing beats it.
Nothing beats it.
The one and only.
Nothing beats it.
The clean, the crisp, the cold. The king of beers.
Nothing beats a Bud. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
Introducing the McDonald's All-Star Race Team. Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, and Dale Earnhardt. NASCAR's very best. The official 1990 McDonald's All-Star Race Team. America's favorite race is coming to America's favorite place.
McDonald's, NASCAR, and you.
We certainly hope you're enjoying today's Busch Grand National Series racing action. The Budweiser 200 live here from the Monster Mile at Dover Downs International Speedway. Today's Speed World coverage brought to you by Suzuki Motorcycles and ATVs. Suzuki, the ride you've been waiting for. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Quaker State. The big Q is one tough motor oil. We are back to Green Flag Racing here in Dover, Delaware, and Harry Gant is now trying to reel in Michael Waltrip. Lap 172, 28 laps remaining, 27 this time by. It is Waltrip, Gant, and then Labonte, the top three cars.
And running in fourth place now is Tom Peck. And, well, now they're flashing Dick Trickle up there in that position. He thought had went around Tom Peck, but I don't think that's the situation. I think the car number 56 of Ronald Cooper is up there in the top five. But the top two are Michael Waltrip and Harry Gant, and not far behind them is the car number 44 of Bobby Labonte.
Labonte's car slipping up in the turns. Michael Waltrip trying to pick up his fourth ever Busch Series win. He got his first win in Busch racing here at Dover, Delaware in September of 1988. And then, of course, he won his second one up at Indianapolis Raceway Park, where we'll be later on this year for our ESPN coverage at Bob and Eileen Daniels facility in August of last year. Then he won from the pole at Richmond in February of this year.
We saw Harry Gant just go around the car number 8 of Bobby Hamilton. We had mentioned earlier that he was out of the race, but he has since come back into the race, running slow around the track, but trying to get as many Busch Grand National points as he can.
Michael Waltrip has that car hugged in the very bottom of the racetrack. There's a Ronald Cooper car. As you see the cars now spreading out, Ronald Cooper being shown as the fourth place car.
Having a good run here today. And right behind him, that blue car, that's the Tommy Houston car, or is it the 96 car? Those blue and white cars sometimes sort of gets mixed up on the screen.
Tom Peck,
that's Tom Peck, who is running in fifth place. So Cooper in fourth and Tom Peck in fifth place. Dick Trickle being shown in sixth now. Tommy Houston in seventh.
There's the Tom Peck car. A lot of smoke off that right front tire as Peck keeps the car down on the bottom of the racetrack.
That was excessive smoke. That will not aid his run to the front, because if that tire smokes that badly, it's going to get hot in a moment and start sliding across the racetrack and not get a good grip.
Now, we talked about the 33 car of Dick Trickle. He is running currently in the sixth position, but Tommy Houston in the blue and white car right behind him, the Rosie Store Buick number 6, is trying to take away that sixth position from Dick Trickle. He moves up on the outside. Can he pass out there? Ernie Irvin tried it and didn't make the pass, but Tommy Houston did. Ernie Irvin, of course, trying to pass the leader, Michael Waltrip, earlier, and they got tangled and into the wall. But Tommy Houston makes the pass. Trickle trying to come back on the inside, but can't quite do it.
Tommy Houston needs to get a good finish here. He has dropped back in the point standings to 6th place following a blown engine last week in Charlotte. Here's our current points leader, car number 63. That, of course, is Chuck Bown, and he is currently being shown in the 9th spot.
And in 10th place is Jack Ingram, still on the lead lap, having a good run here today in the Skoll Chevrolet. Now, this 27 car we see on the left of the screen, that's Elton Sawyer. He's being shown in the 8th position. He's having a good run today in the Waltley Meats automobile.
That's the A.G. Dillard-owned car. They just signed a 2-year deal with Waltley Meats, and that is a rising star there, Elton Sawyer. He will definitely be a factor in this series point title before the year is over.
And the A.G. Dillard car is, A.G. Dillard is the father-in-law of Rick Mast, and of course Rick Mast had driven the Dillard car for a number of years.
Battle heating up back there for 4th spot. Ronald Cooper in the car number 56. That's the Buick. And the Oldsmobile for Tom Peck in the car number 96. They're moving around Robert Presley. Now, Robert has been a lap car, but he has hung with the lead cars all afternoon. And he lost a lap early on, but they not lost that lap. He has run a whale of a race.
Yes, he has. Currently being shown in the 11th position.
Tire marks on the right side of the Ronald Cooper car. He started out the year with the mission driving Fords, and they couldn't get the engine parts to keep the engines together, and so they decided to switch back to the Buick. And they have the Mike Laughlin Buick with the Ruggles V6 in the car.
This is 4th and 5th that we're watching here now. Good battle on the racetrack, and it looks like Tom Peck maybe picks up in the turns, especially coming off the turns, Benny.
Well, he's certainly running a shorter way around the racetrack because he's running out on the bottom of the speedway. Cooper going to the top of the racetrack, having to go a much longer distance than the 96 car.
But when he comes off the turns, he's got it pinched a little bit and really smokes those tires. And that'll heat him up in a hurry.
And Cooper, meanwhile, up on top of the racetrack, lets the car come off very free. Look at him smoke those tires coming off the 4th corner, trying to get by that red and gray number 56 driven by Ronald Cooper.
Battle heating up front now. That's Harry Gant in the car number 7, and Bobby Labonte. Labonte has reeled in Gant, and they are both getting to close now on Michael Waltrip as the laps wind down. 15 laps to go. It'll be 14 this time by, and they have narrowed Waltrip's lead to about 5 car lengths, but Labonte now within a car length again.
And Tom Peck has moved around. The Ronald Cooper car has moved into 4th place, but Bobby Labonte is really working on Harry Gant. Now, the experience of Gant. Labonte doesn't have that much super speedway experience. Will he be able to take him?
I don't know, Ned. Harry Gant, 50 years old. Bobby Labonte, Jerry mentioned earlier, 26 years old. Harry Gant almost twice as old. He's been driving a race car as long as Bobby Labonte has been around. And meanwhile, they've been racing each other, and it looks like they might be gaining just a little bit on Michael Waltrip, the leader.
I think they have picked up on him.
Well, Harry, being the veteran driver, knows you can't abuse those tires for long here on the 24-degree bankings at the Monster Mile, but apparently time is running out. It will be 12 laps to go this time by, and Gannon decided to take the bridle off and try to reel in Michael Waltrip. Waltrip's car literally glued to the bottom of the racetrack through the turns there.
Very well. Once he got back in reasonable sequence as far as tires are concerned. It's sticking right down on the bottom, as you say, and that certainly will work to his advantage.
Got to give a call to Ronnie Silver, who was a Busch Series competitor, and smoke now coming from the right side tires under the Mike Waltrip car.
He's giving that car everything it's got, trying to stay in front of that green and white number 7, driven by Harry Gant. Those cars able to pull away from Labonte just a little bit. Labonte in the red 44, who's currently running 3rd, was our pole sitter, the fastest qualifier. These two guys, though, lots and lots of laps on a racetrack, a lot of experience.
10 laps to go, that time by. And Bobby Labonte likewise is smoking the tires on his Oldsmobile, but maybe just doesn't quite have the experience. It's his first time ever at this 1 mile facility. They're heating it up back in the pack, a battle between Chuck Bown and Elton Sawyer, starting the car number 27, the lap car of Davey Johnson in front of them. That's the car number 26.
And their 8th spot.
27. Elton Sawyer in 8th. Chuck Bown is 9th. Now, Bown is our current point leader. He was in the accident earlier today and doesn't have the aerodynamics he would like to have in the front of his Pontiac when part of the hood of the Ernie Irvin car came crunching into the front of his grill.
He might have him this time.
But will the Robert Presley car, how will it play into the situation? Well, it didn't get on the inside of him, so Presley in the car number 59, moving to the inside, giving them plenty of room, racing room on the outside, but Elton Sawyer goes high, Chuck Bowen goes by.
Elton Sawyer's car drifting very high. That cost him a position. Chuck Bowen will take over the 8th spot. Sawyer will be 9th, and Jack Ingram is 10th. Those cars on the lead lap. Back up front, Michael Waltrip. Meanwhile, trying to hold off Harry Gant in about a 4-car length separation. Now Gant makes it 3 car lengths coming out of turn 4. Gant seems to be able to close coming out of 4, but when he goes into turn 1 and dive on the bottom of the racetrack, Michael's car just hugs that bottom line.
He comes off the second corner. Michael Waltrip's car awfully good. Maybe that's one reason that he did not realize that Ernie would be on the outside because he got off that corner so well. Once again, we're back in turn 4. This is where Harry Gant's been gaining. Let's see if he can this time. Once again, he seems to close up. Jerry, you're right. Coming off this corner. 5 laps to go. Just 5 more, Harry. Time to get going.
Harry Gant, who owns the qualifying record here at Dover, Delaware, would like to pick up that Busch Series win here, but Michael Waltrip is being very, very tough.
And now it looks like Bobby Labonte is beginning to close a little bit on him again. You can see him come into the picture there. When they come off at turn 4, Labonte is closing in a little.
And Harry Gant has closed up. He's just 1 car length behind Michael Waltrip.
Well, the last Busch Grand National race a week ago today at Charlotte, North Carolina, it was a photo finish between Dick Trickle and Dale Jarrett.
Battle back for 5th and 6th. That is a Ronald Cooper, Tommy Houston battle. Those cars battling for the 5th spot.
Houston was way behind Ronald Cooper when he passed Dick Trickle and has run him down now, trying to get in the top 5.
Back up front, the fans are on their feet. Laps are winding down. Harry Gant now closes to make it 3 car lengths, trying to pull it to 2 car lengths in the back stretch. It'll be 2 laps to go this time by. Michael Waltrip trying to repeat where he won his first ever Busch Series race, coming to turn 3 and 4, and Gant is on the bottom of the racetrack. A car length separation out of turn 4.
I don't believe you'll get him, guys. I believe Michael Waltrip will hold on unless he makes a bad mistake.
Well, Harry trying to hold that bottom group. That time he was able to keep his Buick down to the bottom of the racetrack. It's a Pontiac for Waltrip, a Buick for Gant, an Oldsmobile for Bobby Labonte. Fans are standing and cheering, moving as Gant now inches closer and closer, a half a car length in turn 4. White flag from Bobby Scruggs, and the battle also heats up back there between Ronald Cooper and Tommy Houston.
That's for 5th place.
Battle for 5th. Cooper holding him off, but how about up front? Who's going to win it? Michael Waltrip has the advantage, a half a car length. Last time, Gant will dive to the bottom of the racetrack. Final lap. White flag is being waved by Bobby Scruggs. And on the groove on the inside of the track, and Gant will go high out of turn 4. But Michael Waltrip will hold off Harry Gant to take the win. Let's see this battle back. And Houston on the inside. The battle for 4th spot. Tommy Houston, no. Ronald Cooper holds him off. And what a finish here. That's the finish for the 5th spot. Tremendous race here, and there's a celebrating crew. Ronnie Silver in the crew, the Country Time Lemonade Kool-Aid Pontiac. Michael Waltrip, well done. Michael, 27 years of age, holding off. When you've held off Harry Gant here on a track of 1 mile or less, you have done a day's work.
You certainly have. Congratulations, Mikey. That was a great victory.
Michael Waltrip waving in the crowd. He will celebrate momentarily in victory lane. He holds off Harry Gant, winning the Budweiser 200. We'll be back after this.
The Quaker State King Racing Buick, winner of the 1989 Die Hard Award for the most top NASCAR mile, is winning again in 1990 as Brett Bodine takes first in the first Union 400. It takes a tough oil to keep a car running this tough. And it takes a tough driver to step right in, step on it, and win. But number 26 is one tough car. Brett Bodine is one tough driver. And Quaker State is one tough motor oil.
The real test of a power mower is starting it easily on the first pull. That's why Sears is putting 100 Craftsman Eager One mowers on the line. Look at that. 99 first pull starts out of 100. No wonder there are more Craftsmen on the job than any other brand. And right now, our 4-horsepower Craftsman 2 lawnmower with 22-inch cut is just $288 while quantities last. So hurry.
Back in Dover, Delaware, Michael Waltrip has held off the charge of Harry Gant to pick up his second win of the year in Busch Series competition. Let's go down to the Sears Road Handler Winner Circle interview with John Kernan.
Well, Michael Waltrip's getting ready to climb out of the car. We'll just talk to him as he sits in the car.
You want him in? Okay.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take him in here. Michael, you pretty much ran up front all day today. You had the very, very strong car.
Well, we knew it was good from the beginning, and we got a little bit off on our tires there when we elected not to stop early. But I knew the way I was beating them, that once we got the right tires, we were going to be hard to beat. I want to say thank you to a lot of people, Ronnie Silver, all the guys that work on this car. They do a super job. Chuck Ryder and Lowrance Harry, my owners, Kool-Aid and Country Time. This is the little same color car that we crashed in Bristol, and we're putting them right back on the right track here in Dover. Say I'm sorry to Ernie. Hit some slick stuff coming off too, and just got into him a little bit, and I guess I got him in the wall, and I hate it, but I guess that's part of it. I'm just real pleased for everybody involved.
A very happy Michael Waltrip picking up his 4th career Busch Grand National win, his first career Busch Grand National win coming right here at Dover.
Top 20 results here in the Budweiser 200. Waltrip holding off Gant and Bobby Labonte. As you look at these results here, the top 20 today in the Budweiser 200. We'll remind you, coming up next here from Omaha, Nebraska, the College World Series, the LSU Tigers and the Citadel Bulldogs, a live doubleheader on ESPN. And tomorrow, of course, the Budweiser 500 right here live from the Monster Mile. Again, our congratulations to Michael Waltrip, the Country Time Lemonade Kool-Aid crew. Yes, they're celebrating here, and rightfully so, as Michael Waltrip wins it all here in the Budweiser 200. For John Kernan and Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, I'm Jerry Punch saying so long, everybody, from Dover Downs.